If you don't believe you can heal yourself, you never will. If you believe you can heal yourself, you absolutely will. And that is the power of the mind. That is the power of belief. And so what if your healing powers are activated the moment that you believe in them? And what if your financial wealth activation powers are activated the moment you believe in them? It's this whole idea of belief preceding manifestation. Power, influence, manifestation occurs when belief is present. Today on the Manifested with Kathleen Cameron podcast, I want to talk about my mission to first create the millionaire identity in myself, but now how that has transitioned into my passion and my purpose to create as many millionaires out in the world as I possibly can. So the interesting thing I want to make sure we understand here first is the importance of understanding personal growth and development and having a personal mission and a personal vision for your life. But one thing that really allows my personal mission and vision to grow, and for the vision I have for Kathleen's life and my family's life and my journey, my human experience here, what makes it advance so quickly and what makes it so meaningful and what makes it so powerful is the overarching call to good, purpose, mission that I have for the world and for the collective humanity. I've had some major revelations in the past few weeks. I've done some big investments. I've really allowed myself to tap into this version of myself who actually helps millions. And I can really honestly say, I created this millionaire and multimillionaire identity and experience in my life, but it is actually the desire to help other people to achieve that has become much bigger part of my purpose, my passion, and my calling. So to go even further with that, I will say too, is I did this exercise with my team recently, and I think it would be a beautiful thing for you to do. And I did it actually, I think, with my inner circle as well. But I asked the question, what is your dream for humanity? What is the thing that you want the world to experience? What is your dream for all of us? What would you love to see for us? And that type of questioning, that type of awareness and understanding and reflection point is actually the type of thing that real visionaries, vision makers, vision casters, trailblazers, leaders of the world will ask. But it requires you to have a certain identity and a certain level of self-belief and awareness to even think that way. I think back to myself when I was a registered nurse working at the bedside. I had 5 clients, 6 patients that I was managing at the bedside every day in the hospital unit. I wasn't thinking about how I can change the world. I wasn't thinking about what my dream for humanity was. I was so consumed with my own life and living within that place. And I also didn't think that I was worthy of that. I didn't think it was possible for me. How am I going to change the world? How am I going to be worthy of that? How do I even have that impact? How am I ever going to be able to speak to millions of people as a registered nurse, a mother of 2 living in Ontario, Canada, in a small town? How am I ever going to have that impact? Not possible. So I didn't even think about it. So the important thing to really understand is that once you do get to that place where you have that self-belief and you think you are worthy of it and you do think that you can impact change, that's when you start to ask that question of how big can I think and how grand can my vision be for humanity? And if I could change the world, would I? Could I? And what would that look like? And then after we did that session, I sat with my team and we asked, what's our dream for humanity? And what can be our role in helping humanity to fulfill that dream as a collective? And we started to really think about that. How could we impact millions? How could we help raise collective consciousness through this work? How can we create more peace in the world? How can we create more abundance and prosperity? How can we become these elevated versions of ourselves that the world needs us to be in order to invoke that level of change? And so it is a bigger level conversation, and it does require a certain level of self-awareness, confidence, and empowerment. And I'm just grateful that my team is willing to have that conversation and willing to look at it. But one of the things that I know is important for humanity is prosperity and abundance, and for people to step into their greatness and to allow wealth in. It is the wealthiest people in the world that are impacting the most change. It is those individuals that have an abundance of money that are able to start businesses and create economies and are able to open up the charities and do the philanthropy work. And, I've been able to donate so much more money over the past 5 years than I would have ever in my lifetime had I not made the decision to become wealthy. So while some people see wealth as a negative thing or a bad thing, or, many believe that wealth and spirituality can't be one and the same, when I truly believe that they are. But truly allowing myself to become a wealthy has allowed me to impact the world in so many different ways. And even through this work, there's a cost to what I'm doing today. Sitting here and recording these podcasts and putting that free content up on the YouTube channel, it costs money to be able to do that. And I want to serve and I want to give value. And so I'm grateful that I have manifested the wealth in my life to be able to do that. When I first got into this work, it was like, I want to help people to feel peace. I want to help people to feel love. And, the happier we are, the less we're going to fight. And the more we think thoughts of peace, the more peace will be out in the world. And I do still very much believe that. But there's also this part of me that is very, very aware that I became rich for a reason. The wealth came to me because it is the way in which I'm going to speak to more people. And so what that means for me then too is that it is part of my purpose, my mission, and my calling to help you get rich. Because when you allow wealth into your life, abundance into your life, you're going to make a bigger impact in this world yourself. You're going to be able to invest more in your business. You're going to be able to invest more in your life and therefore to invest in the greater humanity. One of my greatest and favorite quotes, James Allen, and As a Man Thinketh, he says, it is the dreamers that change the world. That's what I mean by this, is those people that are willing to dream, those people that are willing to think outside the box, to call something in, those people that are willing to create and to invent and to literally go from nothing to something are the ones that essentially make the biggest difference in the world. It is those that are not willing to dream that aren't invoking as much change. You're not invoking change in your own life, and you're certainly not going to be invoking change out into other people's lives. Does it involve a certain level of bravery and courage to say, yep, I want to be a millionaire, and yep, I want to help other people become millionaires? It certainly does. And to sit here and say that I do want to impact millions of people through this work, it involves me being a braver version of myself, because a lesser version of me would have said, well, that's not for me. I don't know how. That's too much work, or nobody cares, and just thought like that there was no use and no bother. But I've been convincing myself and brainwashing myself into believing that I can make that change. And because of that, I'm starting to impact many people in many different ways and levels. Our academy here is only growing. Our impact is only growing. My impact is only growing. And there is no coincidence that when I start thinking from this higher mission, this higher calling of serving millions of people and helping millions through this work and elevating collective consciousness and dreaming about what I can do for humanity, there is no coincidences that I start being connected to people who have really, really high platforms and influence, and people that watch them, where they're starting to now introduce me to that. And I just think that that is evidence of God in action. And I think about how I connected with someone like Jason Derulo, for example, and to be able to elevate him through his story and share his story, and him to actually elevate me and introduce me to the people on his platforms. To me, that is God in action. But I have to partner with God. The mission God has for me, I have to be in alignment with that. I have to say yes, because I have the free will to say no. I have the free will to say I'm not good enough. I don't know enough. I'm not pretty enough. I'm not skinny enough. I don't have enough influence or impact. I'm scared of what people are going to think. I have the free will to say those things. I have the free will to let fear impact me negatively and to take me off course and to tell me no. And so it is up to me to accept the call. It is up to me to step up into the call, and it is up to me to rise into that greater call for humanity. So the whole point of this podcast episode was actually talk about why I want to create more millionaires in the world and why that is part of my mission, why I created the Millionaire program. It's one thing for me to experience it, and I've always said I will be my best, greatest testimonial first. So I will apply everything I teach to my own life, see how it works and how it doesn't work, and see what theories and methods and science behind this shows up in what way for me in my life, so I can teach from it, because I teach from experience, not from concept. However, there's actually, more to just me experiencing it. It was actually that next level growth for me was to say, okay, I'm going to teach myself to do it. And now I'm going to teach and support others to do it. So what I have seen in the past 5 years has been nothing but miracles. I will talk about the Millionaires in a second, but what's really on my heart right now, and I'll be so honest with you, is, in the past week and a half, I have received 2 very, very significant messages from members of my Millionaire community who are sharing how they cured themselves of cancer with no treatment with their minds in our Millionaire program. And it's just evidence of the power of our own belief systems. They ignited their healing powers within themselves to cure themselves of cancer in the exact same way that many others are doing that for becoming a millionaire. So, whatever it is that you desire in your life, the millions might not resonate with you. But if it is heightened relationships in your life or curing yourself of mental health or physical ailments and diseases, autoimmune disorders, cancers, whether it's manifesting self love or a healthier physical body or more business, more sales, whatever that is. What I want you to hear from me today is that it's available to you. And it's possible to you. I actually, I've probably told this story before. You're gonna hear it again, but it's so powerful. I was getting a healing session in Toronto, Ontario, at a place called Trove. I went for a hour and a half healing group session. There was 4 or 5 of us in the room, and Emmanuel led this Reiki healing session. And we did breath work and we did meditation and all that kind of stuff as well. But at the one point, he says to us, "Okay, I'm going to do a Reiki energy healing for all of you here. But first, I want to teach you your healing abilities within you." And so he sat there and he said, rub your hands together. Everybody put your hands together and rub them together. Activate those healing powers. And I was like, okay, he's like warming up your hands, getting them ready. So I'm visualizing all my healing powers, filling up my hands, like in my head, I'm like, here we go. Yeah, this is going to work. And then he's like, okay, and put your hands where you need the healing the most. And so just intuitively go where the hands are going to go. And I just watched everybody and where they put their hands. And it was so interesting. But then he said something that was so profound. And I thought, oh man, this is it. He said that your healing powers are activated the moment you believe in them. It resonates with me on so many different levels because it all is belief. If you don't believe you can heal yourself, you never will. If you believe you can heal yourself, you absolutely will. And that is the power of the mind. That is the power of belief. And so what if your healing powers are activated the moment that you believe in them? And what if your financial wealth activation powers are activated the moment you believe in them? And what if you believe that your loving creative abilities and powers to manifest your soulmate are activated the moment you believe in them? It's this whole idea of belief preceding manifestation. Power, influence, manifestation occurs when belief is present. Neville Goddard calls it conscious of being. So what you are conscious of being, you will then experience that very being. First becomes the consciousness of the being, and then comes the being or the experiencing. So believing that you can heal yourself is going to come before you heal yourself. The belief that you're a millionaire is going to come before you become a millionaire. And so this is the truth behind this work and the power behind this work, and why I'm so passionate about it is because I keep seeing miracles every single day in my world. And it's not just related to wealth, but I know I'm going to circle us back to Millionaire because it's such an important way of looking at the world. And when I used to think that money could be bad or wrong, or people could misuse it or misunderstand it, they could squander it, and that maybe it was bad or wrong, and like having nice things was bad and material things was materialistic and all of that. When I let all of that go and I allowed myself to actually become a millionaire and say, yes, I would love that experience, everything really, really changed for me. And that's where the money started to come in such a beautiful way. And now, to go from $100,000 a year to $100,000 in a day to $100,000 in an hour to $100,000 in 30 minutes is an experience that each and every one of you can tap into and each and every one of you can have. And the way that I like to look at this, I heard this analogy once and I thought this was so cool. If we think about the ability to fly an airplane, every single one of us has the ability within us to fly an airplane. If one person can do it, every other person can do it. So that means the ability is there, it's present. Now, what do we then go do with that ability to fly an airplane? We take a course and we learn how to do it. We learn what buttons to press and how to steer and all that kind of stuff until it becomes comfortable for us. It's the exact same way with being a millionaire. Would you argue with me that every single one of you has the ability to be a millionaire? If you do, it's going to keep it from you. But if you are in agreement with me, there's our first step, right? That's the awareness that millions, you are able to have that. You are able to be a millionaire. It is innately within you. If one person can do it, you can do it. So then what do you want to do? Take a course to become it. Take a course to learn how to do it. And that's where I decided to bring the Millionaire course into the real world. It is a roadmap of the exact steps that I took to become a millionaire. And now what I've witnessed over time, which is so special, and it actually makes me very emotional, is the amount of millionaires that have come through the program and the ways in which they've done it. For example, a beautiful woman, Christy, she actually manifested a 1.875 lump sum check while in the Millionaire program. So this wasn't over time. This was literally in one day she received this check. And since then continues to thrive, right? She accepted the Millionaire identity and then the millions came, almost 2 million. We had another one share on a live event, and I can't remember the exact amount, but it was something like $9 million that she had manifested in her time in my Diamond Academy. We also have Leslie DeMarco, which you've seen her story on the podcast previous episodes, where, she manifested her first million in 4 months, which made me so happy to see. And it's been many millions since that time. And then I actually just found a little video of myself talking about this. Jennifer was in the Millionaire program for 2 weeks and manifested a $500,000 check. And so these stories are very real and very true. And these individuals have come on to share because they've tapped into their own power. They've activated the belief of their power to generate wealth in their life, and they come on to share it because we know the impact that it's going to have on others. We know the impact that it can have on you. So will $1 million change your life? Yeah, it will. Will it solve all your problems? Will it make life utopia? Will you suddenly love yourself? Will you suddenly be happy? Will all of your problems and stressors be completely gone? No, because money is an amplifier. So money will simply amplify whatever experience that you have. So if you're already fighting about money right now and you don't consciously change and grow and get rid of those patterns and those programs, you'll just fight about more money, because now there's more to fight about. If you're already deeply angry and resentful within yourself about something in your life and in your past, money will simply amplify that. So you will be wealthy, but you will still be angry and you will still be resentful. So this is where, for me, I want to create conscious millionaires. I want to create millionaires that are out in the world, consciously aware, understanding, coming from a higher spiritual perspective, who are going to use their millions to invoke change out in the world, to elevate others, to elevate humanity, and essentially to ask the question, what is my dream for humanity and what is my role in helping to ascend humanity into that dream and into that vision? And imagine a world where we all sat there and said, I would love to get more wealthy so that I could help change the world. That is change. That is my dream for humanity. And I'm excited to continue to expand myself into that role and to make a difference and to change people's lives through that work. So if you feel called, if this is resonating with you, if you feel like you want to be a part of it, reach out to the team, send a DM over, and we will help you on your journey to help us all with our dream for humanity. And as I talk about that dream, I just want to remind us that the limit does not exist.